Expanding your child's vocabulary involves you simply pointing out and naming the different things in your child's immediate environment and in storybook illustrations. If your child is still building their vocabulary and they're not spontaneously producing many single words yet, you're going to stick to just single words for this activity. When you're out for a walk with your little one, point out the flowers, bugs, birds. When you hear an airplane overhead, point to the sky and say plane. If you see several of the same thing, don't feel like because you've already named that particular object for them that you don't have to say it again. Remember, children learn and remember best through repetition. So if they hear the word flower or car 20 times, that's a good thing. If your child has at least 50 single words in their vocabulary, name items for them using two-word phrases. For example, blue car, pretty flower, loud airplane. When your child spontaneously produces single words, add a word on to make a two-word phrase for them to maybe imitate. Remember, don't put any pressure on them to say the two-word phrase because nobody likes demands being placed on them, and they will probably dig their heels in and not want to do it. Nobody likes to be told what to do, especially a little kid. So if your child points to a car and says, car, say blue car. If your kiddo wants more milk and just says milk, say more milk or milk, please. When and if your child starts using two-word phrases, add a word on to their short phrases that they consistently use. So if they typically say, mama help, say, mama help please. If they typically say more milk, say, want more milk or more milk mama, whatever you feel is appropriate. Try doing this consistently and repetitively so that your child is immersed in hearing the longer utterances. Okay, so here's a little demo on how to use the illustrations in children's storybooks to work on building children's single word vocabulary or working on lengthening their utterances. So depending on where your child is at, you'll be following these same guidelines. So if your child has less than if your child has less than 50 single words in their vocabulary, you're going to just name the items and objects in the illustrations using just a single word. If your child has over 50 single words in their vocabulary, you're going to name the objects using two-word phrases. And if your child is consistently using two-word phrases but not yet doing many three-word phrases, you're going to model three-word phrases. So for example, for single words, just balloon, bunny, star, star, star. So rather than counting multiple objects on a page, you're going to point to the object and say it as many times as you want. Obviously, there's probably like 30 stars on there, so you want to just stop at maybe like 5. You don't want to overdo it. But remember, kids learn and remember through repetition, so hearing the word star several times is really beneficial. And then another good thing about this is pointing to each star as you say the name star, because a lot of times children a word is more likely to stick if it's paired with a physical action. So the physical action here is pointing, and we want the kids eventually, we're not going to put any demands on them and say you need to do this, just eventually most likely your child will begin to imitate what you've been doing. So you may notice that, when you take the book out, you're snuggled up in bed at night, they may start to say star, star, star and point to it. Okay, you can even go pop the balloon. And then if you're working on two-word phrases, obviously you're going to say red balloon, sleepy bunny, okay, that kind of thing. And again, instead of counting the bears, just bear, bear, bear. And then, or you can say brown bear, brown bear, brown bear if you're working on two-word phrases with your child. Okay, I think you get the idea. That is it, and you will see some more storybook demonstrations coming up in a few lessons from now. Okay, have fun.